I also want to talk about Smackdown and Kevin Owens' return, because that's kind of a big deal. We talked all week last week about the knee injury and the meniscus possible tear that Kevin Owens got at a house show, and the question is now, I mean, are we being worked by Triple H, or is this just showing like how tough Kevin Owens really is? Now, I believe that when I was watching SmackDown, there was a visible limp when he came out to the ring. When his music hit after Roman, which was epic, right? And Roman comes out. I thought that SmackDown, let's just take a second to talk about, I'm down on Raw right now, but I am very up on SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was, from start to finish, a well put together 2-hour show. I wish Monday Night Raw would follow suit and give us a solid 2-hour show that can just be kind of, it just like Raw just feels it's a little loosey-goosey. It's just a little too much going on, and we have to drag these matches out too long because Triple H isn't willing to just have a ton of segments in Monday Night Raw, so he stretches out these matches real long, and it's more of a wrestling show. SmackDown feels like an entertainment. And that's kind of the opposite of what we were sold on, right? We were kind of sold on from the beginning that Fox wanted the real wrestling, the real sports show. And it feels like with Bray Wyatt, with Roman Reigns, now with Kevin Owens, with Drew McIntyre, we're getting into a little bit here again of the A show, B show thing. It really does feel like it. But when Kevin Owens returned, let's get back to what we're talking about here. When Kevin Owens returned, I saw a visible limp. I don't know what everybody else saw, but it did appear that he limped to the ring, which is going to lead me to say, this is one tough son of a bitch. Like, Kevin Owens is he's got to be the toughest man in pro wrestling, because I think 99% of other wrestlers, if they have that injury, they're out 6 weeks. They hit the shelf. And I think Kevin Owens looked at his landscape, right? It's what I've been talking about. You can't let the hot pot cool off. And I think Kevin Owens looked at it and he goes, I know I'm in the plans. I know I'm due for a big push. I can't sit this one out. Like, I can't let somebody take that spot, because what if they take that spot and they hit that moment, and then it slips through what happens? You can't do it. And I think Kevin said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go out there. I don't give a fuck if my knee's falling off. I'm going to limp to the ring. I'm going to super kick a couple guys. I'm going to stun a couple guys. I'm going to do the thing. And he did the thing. And he somehow he overcomes this shit. Then I go on to find out that he worked a dark match. And that's probably just to test the leg out, I'm assuming, right? He probably was like, all right, give me a match. Let me do something. And that dark match was against none other than Austin Theory, which he beat, which is interesting. Once again, because we all talked about this new Austin Theory that we were all, I wasn't on board, but everybody else was so hyped up about, but they're, once again, using him as a piece to get beat up. And I know you go, oh, but it's a dark match. It's a dark match, D. Yeah, no, it's a dark match, but it's still not very protecting. You had a crowd that left with the taste of Austin Theory losing again. Is that just, I think, like, I'm afraid that everybody's getting hyped up on this idea that they're building up Austin Theory to be this monster, when maybe they're just feeding Austin Theory to Seth Rollins again. That there could be a possibility that's what's happening. But back to Kevin Owens. Let's talk about for a second. Even after watching all of AEW Full Gear, even after watching all of that, there are no two wrestlers in the business to me that are more over with just mass fans than Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. The pop that those guys get when their music hits, it's phenomenal. Because WWE crowds are a little less reactive than AEW, but yet when Roman's music hits and that epic interest starts, like the way Roman just walks to the ring casually when there's just a shit show going on in the ring and the Bloodline are in trouble, there's just like an aura around him that says like megastar. Roman Reigns, megastar. But then you get Kevin Owens and the pop is just as big. And the crowd is behind him. And the crowd wants to see him successful. And it's interesting. It's very interesting, because we all believe right now that we're headed towards possibly Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up to take on the Bloodline at some point and win the tag team titles. I'm not so sure right now. There's something inside me that says Kevin Owens may be due. He may be due to dethrone Roman Reigns, and I'm not mad at that idea at all. I think there's a big possibility at War Games, the Bloodlines take the loss. Now, I don't think Roman's not going to get pinned. Let's not overreact. They're not coming for Roman in that way. But there's a good chance that the Bloodline takes the loss. And I think Sami Zayn's going to take the pin. And I think Kevin Owens is going to pin him. And I think it's going to create dissension within the Bloodline. I think we are witnessing the beginning of the end for Sami and the Bloodline. I think the next 60 days heading into the Rumble will be interesting because with no premium live events, I do think we see more of Roman Reigns. And I think we get to see the story of the Bloodline really unfold in the next 60 days, 30 days especially, but 60 days, it will be interesting to see what really takes place as we kind of we are definitely near the end of this thing. I know we all think it's The Rock. I know we all think it's The Rock, or we don't all, but I know there's a lot of people who think that The Rock is going to be the one to dethrone Roman or just at least take on Roman. But I think Kevin Owens is waiting in the wind for this thing, and he's primed and ready. And if it's not Kevin, it's got to be Sami. It's got to be one of those two. I think those two guys are just primed to do it. Last thing on this SmackDown thing, did anybody else catch Drew McIntyre asking Solo if Roman was coming out yet? Those are funny moments that get caught, when when the broadcasting team kind of misses a cue. And they had the camera on Drew McIntyre. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. It's funny. You can see Drew visibly asking Solo, is he coming yet? Is he out yet? Because Roman's interest is so long and takes so long to happen, I don't think he wanted to turn around to whatever that moment was. I think he took a spear or a Superman punch, one or the other. But it was just funny to see them kind of queuing that up.